Hello and welcome to another video. Today we're doing something a little bit different. It is another line art video. But instead of line arting with my normal pens, today we are using a brush pen. I am not really a brush pen person. For a really long time, I tried to be a brush pen person. I bought the Pentel brush pen, the Pentel Pocket brush pen. I bought the Tombow brush pens. I bought just so many different types of brush pens because I tried so hard to be a brush pen girly. But after a while, I thought, my hand's too heavy. I always push down too hard for the brush pen. It's really hard to control the brush pen. They're not for me. And then I was looking through some artists that I like on Instagram and some YouTube videos, and I saw them using this Pentel brush pen, the art brush pen or whatever. And I was like, that red is so vibrant and pretty. And normally I'm not the type of person, I don't really like red as a color personally myself. Just not a color that I really like, but I was like, it's so vibrant and so pretty. I must have it. And so I bought one, and then I saw that it had a bunch of different colors. And so I bought 7 different colors for pens that I don't even know if I'm going to be using that much because I am not a brush pen person. So this week I'm trying to use brush pens because I bought 7 of these fools, and I'm going to have to try and use them up. Because if I don't use them up, it was a waste of money, and they were not like super expensive, but it added up when you buy 7. So I'm making myself use them. So we're in my finished artwork sketchbook today, and I decided that I was gonna sketch out this girl. So it's actually a redraw of Blood Witch I drew like a really long time ago. You guys might have seen it in one of my old sketchbook tours, but she's a Blood Witch. The only reason I drew the Blood Witch is because she has like this blood red hair, and I was like, this pen will work really great for like the blood red hair, right? And so I'm lining this here. Honestly, at first I was like, this is going okay. It's not the worst thing I've ever done in my life. Like, the sketch was fine. I mean, it wasn't like super complicated or anything. It was really the most of the piece was going to come through with the coloring. So I was like, okay. So the lining is not bad. And then I got to doing the hair and the shoulder, and I was like, oh fuck, my heavy-handedness fucked me up again. You can really see it on the shoulder. I really messed up on the shoulder there, and I was like, god damn it. And so I do start freaking out around that point. You can't really see it because this video is sped up, and I cut out the parts where I'm like, oh god, no. But yeah, I don't know. I just think I feel like I'm doing it wrong, but also I think I was looking at some videos of inking on Instagram, and I was like, oh, so they only ink like stuff with like a brush pen if it's like, I don't know, like body parts and like not really the face and stuff. And I did the face with the brush pen, and I was looking at it, and the technique is not typically for like, well, I mean, this is like a large piece, so I thought it would be okay. And most of the pieces I see people use a brush pen on are pretty small, so I'm like, am I making it too big? Honestly, it was a lot for me. I tried my best though. And then after that, I decided that I was going to ink the whole hair with the red. And that was a mistake, you guys. I tried to copy this technique that I saw on Instagram. I was doing my best, and I was like, this is taking forever. And it used up a lot of ink. I'm pretty sure that red pen is like half emptied out because it took so much ink. And then also the paper is not made for ink, I don't think, because it really started to chew up the paper the more ink I started to add. And I was like, oh god, this is not turning out great. This is turning out really bad. By the end of the piece, I don't dislike it. I actually think it's actually pretty cute. By the end of it, I just feel like I didn't use the ink till its fullest potential. And also, I don't color it with markers. I just color it with my one of my Ecoline brush pens, the pastel red one. I just put like some color in her cheeks and some like where the blush would be on her body. I just put a little bit of blush on there. And in the background, I colored the background with the same color just because I felt like leaving it white was like weird. I don't know. I just didn't like it as blank. I don't know. I feel weird about it. I use ink literally all the time in my drawings, but I usually only use it for line art, and so I don't know how to make a drawing stand out as just an ink drawing. I know that that's what Inktober is for, but whenever I do like stuff with ink, I only ever think of it in terms of line art, and I have to think of it more in terms of like finishing off the piece. And so I'm trying to figure out how will be the best way for me to do that personally. Like I said though, it's been several years since I've used a brush pen, just because I put it in my mind that I'm not a person who can use a brush pen, which is not true. I just need to practice more. And so I bought these, and I was like, I'm gonna learn how to practice. And so I have used them after I drew this drawing. I drew another drawing in my sketchbook, and I did not like the way it turned out, so I ended up going all over all of it with one of my High-Tech C regular little needlepoint pens, and I was like, this looks so much better. And you know what, I think it's just that it's good that I tried. I don't mind that I had to cover it up after, because I still technically practiced with the brush pen. I just ended up covering it up because I didn't like the look of it, which I think is okay, because it's not like I did it and then I was like, or I chickened out of doing it, and instead of finishing the whole thing off with the brush pen, I switched over. It's not like I switched over. I did the whole thing in the brush pen first. So I practiced a little bit with it, and I think I have to practice with it more to get it done right. I'm not gonna promise that I use more brush pen this week, because I honestly don't know at this point. I'm gonna try my best to use it maybe more and like my own personal things, but every time I try to use a brush pen, I feel like I only end up doodling with it and like just testing out the brush and trying to figure out how to way to use a brush. I'm not great with a brush. That's partially why I don't paint. I said I don't paint because I don't like to mix paints and clean off brushes, and that's all true, but also I feel like I really struggle with using the maneuvering the brush personally. I don't know what it is. I feel like brushes are really super long and stuff, which is why I try to use those Tombow brush pens. The brushes are really short and they're not like, they don't have bristles. Something about the bristles also throws me off a lot. I think that's why I'm primarily like a Copics artist. Technically it's a quote unquote brush pen, but it's not like a brush in the same way that a brush with bristles. It's like a spongy type of brush, so it's like I don't have to worry about it like having the bristle effect on there. And honestly, no offense if you really like dry brushing, I just don't really like the look of dry brushing. It kind of like super bothers me for some reason. I don't know why. So I am going to be trying to figure out a way to use the brush pen more effectively. If you guys are brush pen artists, I would love to hear your feedback about how to best use a brush pen. I feel like it didn't work out for this drawing first and foremost because I was doing it at my desk, and I thought that since I was lining it on camera, that's why I fucked it up. And then I lined something in my usual spot in my bed, and I still fucked it up. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. I think it's because you have to use I don't know if you have to use your whole arm when you're doing brush pen. And normally when I do my art, I know for a fact I don't use my whole arm when I'm inking. I do use my whole arm sometimes when I'm sketching, but not when I ink. That's only pretty much just a wrist movement for me, and I'm not really great at using my whole arm. Maybe that's why I'm not very good at using the brush pen. And then I had to figure out how to get like a lighter touch, because the brush pen is really sensitive to like really heavy-handed movements, because if you press harder, the line's gonna get thicker, right? And so whenever I'm moving my pen, just whenever it's a downstroke, I think I subconsciously push down harder when I'm bringing it down, and so that makes the line thicker. And I'm like, I don't know how to keep the line thin. And then also I have kind of shaky hands, and so which is not great for a brush pen, so I'm like trying to like draw like a long line with a brush pen and then like keep it straight. I think I did really well for the first time, and then for the second time not so well when I was doing the hair, but I don't know, you guys can let me know. Anyway, here I'm just moving on to the coloring, quote unquote coloring. I just used my ink line brush pen for a little bit of blush on her face and stuff. I didn't really even consider using the markers for this. I did use markers for the second piece I used with a brush pen, and these are actually Copic proof, which is great. That's really awesome. So I can use them with my Copics, no problem, which is super, super awesome, great, totally cool. I just have to figure out a way to make the lines look nice, so I want to use them with my Copics. But yeah, so they're Copic proof, and I don't know why I didn't think about using Copic markers for this. I think I just wanted to keep it simple. I do think it stands out a lot from the rest of the pieces that I have in here, and I think my problem is I don't feel like just ink is enough for a piece to be finished. I'm used to fully rendering things with alcohol markers with my Copics and stuff, and so if something is just like ink and just a little bit of watercolor pen, I feel like it's not done. It feels like just like a little doodle. And this is it didn't take me exceedingly long to color it in, and maybe that's part of the problem. I feel like it didn't, just because something doesn't take you a long time doesn't mean it's not like a finished artwork. And so I'm trying to think of this as a finished artwork in my mind, and I just feel like there's like disconnect there for me. And so it just feels like, I don't know, it only took me like 20-30 minutes to do this. And so I'm like, that didn't take enough time, so it can't be done. You must have to do something else to it, which is why I kept adding like the blush and color in the background, because it didn't feel done to me. And I think that's like I wouldn't say a wrong way of thinking, but it's like, what's it called? I don't know, errorful? I don't know, an errored way of thinking. I mean, just because something is like just ink and a little bit of watercolor doesn't mean it's not a finished piece, you know? And so I'm like, I have to get over that stigma that I have in my mind for some reason. And like I said, I don't think this came out bad. I don't think it's ugly. I think it actually turns out really cute. And so when I look at it, I'm like, oh, she's actually really cute. But I don't know, something in my mind is disconnecting for me. Like I said, I like the way the red looks. I feel like it's not as vibrant as it is in those pictures I see on Instagram, but I think that those ones are edited a little bit. I'm not sure. But I do like them. I do like the colors, except for the one that I got that was sepia. The sepia one looks like a black marker, but like a little bit dingier. I don't like it at all. I thought it was going to be more like the coffee brown, which sucks, but you know, what can you do about that? So yeah, that's the end of the video, you guys. I hope you enjoyed spending this time with me. I will go ahead and see you in the next one. Bye!